Mercedes are known for their ability to get inventive with their car designs. The split turbo they created for the hybrid era engine helped them win 8 Constructors' Championships in a row. The DAS system that involved changing the alignment of the front wheels mid-lap was an ingenious system to help tyre management. But for the 2022 season, they have a new card up their sleeve. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at what Mercedes have been hiding. Hey motorheads, glad to see you back on this racing track. Did you get road rage and need the scenic view of Formula 1 updates to relax? Then we're ready to drive you. So put on your seatbelts and join us as we chauffeur you through today's video. But before that, be the perfect speed freak by banging into the subscribe button. Alright, we're good to go. The 2022 season is bringing in some of the biggest changes to car design rules in F1 history. The 2022 regulations, originally slated to arrive in 2021 but delayed by COVID-19, had one guiding principle: to allow closer racing with the potential for more overtakes, and therefore, in our opinion, more exciting racing. Traditionally, regulations have been changed for safety, as if F1 just keeps letting teams make their cars faster and faster, the last era of cars were the quickest ever by the way, then it gets more and more difficult to make the sport as safe as possible. This is probably a part of the FIA choice to change the rules, but it was also partly to freshen the sport up. After watching Mercedes dominate the other teams on the grid for 8 years, it's definitely time for a change. We could give you a detailed insight into what all the changes are, but to be honest, we haven't got the time to explain it all in this video, and you probably haven't got the patience to watch it all. The quick summary though is that the ground effect floors are back. The front and rear wing have had a big redesign, and the cars are going to be rocking 18-inch wheels instead of the old 13-inch ones. With so many changes happening to the set of rules that govern the team's design of the cars, there was always going to be some things that caught people by surprise. Red Bull's side pods, for example, were turning heads up and down the pit wall, featuring a monstrous undercut to help their aerodynamic design. Adrian Newey, Red Bull's chief technical officer, was probably pretty happy with all the attention his car was getting. Well, he might not be happy for long, as Mercedes might just have the next big thing in Formula 1. Red Bull got a lot of stick during their car reveal. The team showed off their new livery on an FIA show car, which was a letdown for everyone hoping to get a glimpse of what they had to come up with for 2022. Mercedes, though, have managed to one-up this technology hiding strategy. Every team was expected to incorporate big designs into their car for the testing session in Bahrain. Red Bull's Helmut Marko has said as much in a recent interview. Everyone will fly to Bahrain with new parts. In the first few races, everyone will be full of energy. But just what is it that Mercedes are going to be bringing? Well, it isn't exactly what they were bringing, but it's what they won't be. Mercedes have found a way to make do without side pods on their car, or as they say, the belly is gone. Mercedes technical team lead James Allison may have found an innovative way to mount the W13's radiators that will result in the car having no side pods. The report by Corriere dello Sport reads, "It would be a car almost completely devoid of sides, the disappearance of which would have involved an imaginative but effective arrangement of the radiators in the highest area of the bodywork," and goes on to claim that the team is backing up the approach with impressive simulator performances and gains in speed of up to 1 second. In the first test in Barcelona, Mercedes actually ran with 2 different side pod designs. They opted for a multi-geometry surface to begin with, before they were trialling their louvered side pods during the opening test. Perhaps they were just testing their options in Barcelona, but if the report is true and they're gaining a second a lap by not having side pods, then the car we see in Bahrain will be incomparably fast compared to the rest of the field. Mercedes were unsurprisingly trying to keep everything under wraps until the car hit the track in Bahrain. A spokesman for the team said, "Everyone flies to Bahrain with new parts. The biggest upgrades are usually the ones you can see from the outside." Mercedes might have been playing coy, but we can all imagine Toto Wolff's smug look if his new design works out. Of course, Mercedes won't be the only team bringing upgrades to Bahrain. You will know by now that the top teams love to play their mind games with each other. Toto Wolff and Christian Horner's continuous taunting of each other is a prime example of this. And Sky F1's Paul Di Resta agrees. I think they're playing games to a certain extent. I think both Red Bull and Mercedes, what you're seeing and what you're hearing, are saving a lot until the end. As F1 testing progresses towards the first race of the season, everyone will be looking at each other with a weary eye. Sky Sports' Ted Kravitz reckons the F1 testing in Bahrain could result in a whole host of protests from different teams, or at least questions being put before the FIA and its new race directors. There are already lots of teams looking at various bits on other cars and going, hang on, I didn't think we were allowed to do that. Every single thing is going to be objected to or even protested. That's a problem for these race directors. These two guys are coming in at a particularly red-hot time for inter-team protests. The team replacing Michael Massey are going to be in for a very busy 3 days. Niels Wittich and Eduardo Freitas will be acting alternatively as race directors, assisted by Herbie Blash as a permanent senior advisor for the 2022 season. After Michael Massey was removed from his post for his handling of the Bahrain Grand Prix, there's going to be a very bright spotlight on the new team of race directors before the first race even begins. It's unlikely that any of the teams have done anything too radical without running it past the FIA first though. The budget cap for this year has been reduced to try and prevent the teams with more financial backing from dominating the sport. The hope is that the backmarkers won't be as far off the pace as they have been in recent years, and that there may be more opportunities for the midfield teams to pick up podiums here and there. What does a budget reduction mean for a team who likes to push the rules like Mercedes does? Well, they'll want to make sure that any development money they do spend is actually transferred into real-world improvements. What we mean is that if they're paying a team of people to design and test an F1 car with no side pods, then they will definitely want that design to be able to make it to their final race car. The consequence of this new design being ruled as illegal by the FIA could mean that they've spent millions of dollars of their budget on designing a car they cannot now use. There are other risks as well. In the past, the FIA has ruled against design innovation for reasons other than the breaking of its own design rules. Colin Chapman, Lotus engineer during the 70s and 80s, designed a car with two chassis to get around rule changes towards the end of the last ground effect era in 1981. The car was innovative, fast, and right on the edge of what was legal according to the FIA regulations. The double chassis was banned, and Colin Chapman took the FIA to court over the decision. The FIA said it was banned because it broke their design rules, but at the time, it was said that part of the reason was that it would cost the other teams too much to redesign their cars to stay competitive. Mercedes will have done their homework and due diligence when it comes to this new design. They won't want to get caught millions of dollars out of pocket before the season has even began. But even if they check with the FIA that what they're doing is legal, they could still get caught. It's understood that the FIA have quite clearly reserved the right to alter the regulations if and when a team comes up with an innovation that's such an advantage that it contravenes the intent of the new regulations, which is a closer and more diverse competition. If Mercedes' new design has really gained them a whole second a lap, then the FIA would likely consider a rule change to ensure there isn't a repeat of the hybrid era dominance that the team enjoyed. F1's managing director of motorsports, Ross Brawn, seemed to think it might be legal though. Some of the solutions, quite honestly, we never anticipated. And I think we'll go back in to investigate these solutions and make sure they maintain the objective of the new rules. And I think they do, he said. The regulators of the sport know what's going on. I think they're okay with it so far. But a team may come in and raise an objection that the FIA hasn't considered. And then you have a problem. No matter what happens with the cars before the first race of the season, you can guarantee that every team will bring new changes to cars across the grid. New regulations will drive teams to innovate on levels they never have before. The constrictions of the hybrid era have been lifted. The blueprint of the old cars has been scrapped, and 2022 is set to be a battle of the mechanics as much as a battle of the drivers. That's all for today's video. Do you think the FIA should be allowed to change the rules this close to the start of the season to promote a more competitive championship? Are you a Mercedes fan who loves the idea of the team dominating again? Let us know in the comment section down below what you think. And on your way out of our pit box, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that notification bell to be sure you don't miss out on any of our content. Till we see you next time, drive safe and bye bye.